So are there anything you want to say about the screening and the scenes?
Well, it's so gratifying. First of all, thank you to you, Ambrose, and also to Cameron for having our film here at the festival. It meant so much to me to be here at North by Northeast. And, you know, we could have been possibly in a bigger festival, but we got some really. But no, but this festival, it seemed to be the right vibe for us.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I really loved about the fact that you accepted us, and I'm so honored by that.
You make us look good.
And the other thing, I come away from making this film with two mottos. The first one, and apologies to Mae West, I think the other one is Hillary Clinton. First one is indie filmmaking ain't for sissies, and the other one is it takes a village to make a movie, and it really does. And I think that there are so many people in this room. I don't want to start thanking everybody because I'm going to miss somebody, but suffice to say, our families are here, our crew, post-production, my amazing post-production crew is here. Daryl, I'm going to point out, my editor.
Every documentary filmmaker has cited their editors today. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. Very important. Yeah, very important.
And
well, if I can interject, it's probably the hardest film to make because there's no script. Start out with no script.
The script writes itself.
that's right.
Rob Stewart?
Oh, so I had to pee.
We told him.
Yeah, the whole room. The whole room knows that right here. Where's Mark?
Mark's.
Who knows?
I'm here.
There he is.
Oh, right here, you big meathead. Mark Festival, ladies and gentlemen. Any reviews mentioned his uncanny comedic timing, or was it unfunny?
Unfunny timing.
Unfunny timing.
Yeah, we got you all.
And now I can thank my two co-directors as well.
Yay.
Is there anything you want to? How do you like watching yourself on the big screen here?
It's the first time I've ever enjoyed it. I never watched it. No, anybody that knows me, that's true. I don't watch myself in anything. I can't. I get slightly nauseous and throw up in my mouth a bit. But this is the first time I've loved watching. Yeah, the rest of us do. Yeah, mostly. That's the career dad. Yeah. No, I loved it. Marcus, did you love watching
well, I love watching Rob at all times. Right, you know, like when Rob asked me to be a part of the project, you know, like part of the thing was to exploit his self-deprecating sense of humor. You know, like we had to be very sensitive about you know, what Serbia had gone through. But Rob really wanted to poke fun at himself, and that was kind of my role. And I'm happy to be a part of the team. Thank you.
Do we have any questions from the audience? Yes.
So I was just wondering, did you ever get in touch with any of the people that you had worked with on the show to say, hey, did you know this was happening? And
Well, yeah, we talked to Carolyn. Remember, we phoned one night from Elma Space. Where's Elma, by the way?
She was during the after party.
My mom and dad here. First, before I even forget, my mom and dad, thank you so much
Yeah.
for a lot of the work was done. Our first production meeting was in Elma's basement. So, yes, I called Carolyn Dunn. I didn't know where she was. We had been close in LA, and then we both moved back to Toronto. We've been close, and then she just took off. She went up to, I think, PEI. And I got in touch with her through Facebook, and then somehow we tracked her number down. But I called her, and I think it was late at night, and she might have had a couple glasses of wine. And she goes, oh, I had left a message, and then the second time I called her, she picked up the phone, and she goes, so tell me again, why are we famous in Siberia? So I told her, and then we realized, like, the obvious thing, and it would have been a great thing. I would have loved it because I would have loved to see him again. I mean, I've worked with the Incense, but would be to take Ian and Carolyn there. But we did, you know, you got to understand, we did this with all our own. We stitched it together, handmade. Like, we didn't have the money to fly people in. We didn't know. It was 5 or 6 days before we got there that we even knew. Like Ron DeSilva was pointing up the money, like that we got the money to even go there.
Yeah.
It was
got-
close.
Yeah,
it was close.
it was close. Yeah.
maybe a week and a half, I don't know, but I remember fainting when I got that call. But,
I remember you fainted.
Yeah.
Little girl.
But, so yes, we did try, and it would have been great to, and I'd still love Carolyn to see, because they love her, you know, but it was
Yeah,
just,
they
we
do.
didn't, yeah, they
Yeah.
really do.
Yeah.
They just, we didn't have the money to do a normal film where you'd say, hey, fly with me or come to Serbia. I wish we had, but it's a little wee film made by hobbits from Britain.
That's true. Paid off handsome.
So I don't know what you know, because all these fine people will be accessible in the outer area right after the screening. If no one has any other questions that they want to say in public, or, you know, you can corner them when we go next door.
I want to point out that there will be some rakia tasting going on in the other room.
Oh, we'll be very excited.
That is compliments of Dushan Varga.
Dushan.
Who is Rakia Bar TO. It's going to be the very first Rakia bar in Canada.
Just to clarify, that stuff we drank out of the gas tank is not what this gentleman's making. You'll find out in a second.
In addition to that, and relevant to tonight's screening, I just want to point out one of the great partners in the NXNE Film Festival is our cameraman, Andre, who's Serbian. Someone I consider to be a celebrity. Victor Mitic, the famous artist who shoots holes in his finished paintings with a gun. So yeah, let's move the madness next door. Let's go.
Or if there's any other questions, or if people want to, yeah, okay. Yeah.
I didn't actually realize how much it actually made me impact. I thought I watched it.
Wow, man.
You know what, I don't think anybody there realized it would have, if they knew we were coming, because the press broke, I don't know, when did you break the stories, like a month before?
Yeah, well, a few weeks before.
I don't know, my memory's bad. But Mark had been slyly leaking things, first about me, then about my brother John, about Indy, they went mental, actually, at that story.
Yeah.
Because
I remember seeing
Yeah,
it.
because there was they told us there was some urban myth that Nick Slaughter had a hidden
Brother in Charkovo.
Yeah. So we found out he did have a brother. He's Serbian. They went mental. And so, but I don't think any of the people there would have said, like an hour before I showed up in the airport, that this was going to become what it was.
Yeah.
They participated and we participated, and it became what it was.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like if they said Nick Slaughter's going, oh, that's cool. But I don't think it happened. It happened when we were there. It picked up steam, and that's basically the document of what happened.
Well, what the radio host or the rock journalist said, it didn't click. And I can remember hearing my parents mention something about that. It's like, we don't want you to watch the news.
Oh,
And
that's
it-
right,
like,
because you were a kid.
Until that moment, I was just like,
That's why they did
why
that.
was it so huge? And I was just like,
Because NATO was bombing.
yeah. Well, there was just like, just everything in general. It was just like, I didn't put two and two together, like why it was what, like, it was a part of my childhood, but I didn't realize why.
Oh,
It was so huge.
yeah.
So,
But I just want to say something quickly about that, because you're kind of touching with that same thing I had, that emotion. But we had always thought, Mark mentioned it, but with the self-deprecating thing, you know, like because it's our Canadian national pastime, other than beer and hockey, is to make fun of ourselves. And we're very distinct from Americans in that. I found out when I lived in LA. Especially, yeah. But you know, that our plan, we kind of had a plan B in case the Yvonne, who ran the website or the Facebook site, wasn't really living in the real world, and there was no one at the airport, and I wasn't really famous at all. We had a plan B, which was to land there and then have nobody, and then spend the next 2 weeks trying to get people to be interested in Nick Slaughter. and that would have been fun. And then the whole game would be to.
We really did scenario that out.
And that might have been plan A, and that was plan B, I can't remember. But that was definitely in the cards. And the other thing was to make fun of, like, Mark and I sat in our office, and I forced him to watch some of the episodes. I think we got through 3 or something, and just have us ripping on it, like, and ripping it apart. But so that was part of it too, is make fun of the show and make fun of my acting, make fun. But the moment we got there, guys of your generation, and the first, like, they were tearing up a little bit, and Mark waved me off. He was like,
Yeah, well, let me jump in here. Rob had to be very respectful of what the Serbs had been through. And so that was, like, to get the tone right, we still wanted to have some humor in there, and that's kind of what I was doing.
We were always fun.
Trying to
Love
poke
it.
fun.
The darker the better.
But that was the big thing, right? We couldn't make fun of the show, really,
No.
because you're making fun of the comfort blanket that meant so much to them. And then, that's the first time it was sort of like,
It's my job to make fun.
exactly. So anyway, that was a cool revelation of all.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I gotta say, the tone is beautiful all throughout. You really do ride that so nicely, and I'm sure.
Sure, and Daryl.
Thanks, Ken.
Your speech at the tree planting ceremony, you couldn't have faked that.
Well,
And
obviously,
it
it
was
was stumbling.
so beautiful. We can see you thinking what you're saying as you're saying it, and it could not, like, either you're the greatest actor on the planet, which you may well be, but I think, or that was the most
Well,
genuine,
that was general, yeah.
most genuine, effective, beautiful sentiment and statement that you could have made. I was very, very
I
impressed.
found it a little laborious watching me try to string the metaphor on too long, but it's real, that's right. And remember, we were riding there to that thing, and I really, John and Mark, when, I think you were with Baritza going to the thing, but we were,
Right.
John, and we were all, like, really, really badly damaged by that point. We were hungover, we didn't sleep, it was drinking, it was always good, but the three of us were mental. And I remember we were just pulling up, we saw the ambassador's car, and I turned to John and Mark, and I was like, should I have a speech or something? Like, I was pale, I could barely breathe. Yeah, and that's what that was. And so I guess when that metaphor occurred to me, you can see the slow two-neuron binary code thinking process. String together the metaphor.
You went one too far when you mentioned that charcoal might need to be watered.
I know! I think Lisa and Daryl left that in just to punish me for this. Let's hang him out there a little bit. But it is, yeah, I was making it up completely as I went, so.
And quick question,
Yeah.
the impact on your son of this experience.
Danny, you handsome lad, stand up. Wow. Daniel, would you like to answer that? Be your first public speaking. By the way, just tell them the story about, there's two stories quickly. Atheist Rap, you know, remember Mark wrote the thing, and they wouldn't respond to us because they thought we were assholes because he called me Mr. Stewart.
Yeah.
Why did Atheist Rap get in touch with us? What's the start of the whole documentary?
Oh yeah, me being curious as I am, I decided to search in tropical heat, and I found out that it actually had like 15,000 people liked it. And I realized that the majority of them were Serbian. I had no idea, so I asked my dad to basically look up what had gone on. And
Oh, you did that, but I'm talking about the YouTube video of the Slaughter and Nietzsche thing.
oh
Remember you
shit!
wrote the band?
Yeah. I wrote something saying that's my dad or something very short like that. And who responded?
And Ratchet.
Well, Ratchet, he
Yeah,
said,
he's a guitarist because you said I'm a guitarist. My dad. That's
Yeah.
about my dad.
Because the
really cool
email
stuff.
I wrote was so, might have been drinking,
Yeah, it was 3 in the morning. It's a good thing.
but,
Yeah, so Danny did that, and then the other thing was when I was interviewing Sergej Popovich, and that was a long interview because there was so much ground to cover. He's like a historian. It was 2 hours that interview. During the interview, Daniel actually wrote him a thing. Remember that? He wrote Sergej Popovich
Texted.
something, texted him. I can't remember what you said, but
Oh, you're fine.
I teared up when he told me.
Yeah.
And you know, the kid was 13 when that happened.
Yeah.
It was beautiful, and this is the guy that led the revolution. My son's there going, you know what, Sergej, thanks so much. You're, you know, giving respect. So that didn't answer anything, and I'm still talking. What was the
Well, truthfully, didn't really have a huge one because you guys were basically kept in your basements.
Yeah.
And
you were writing.
yeah, exactly. And the office, so I didn't have a huge impact on me apart from seeing you, well, the three of you, extremely happy when anything great happened, which you know came in a long process over 4 years. So
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it though. It was awesome. Well done.
And you know, like your second psychiatrist put it best, I think. Any other questions before we drink a lot?